In this video, we are going to talk about how to park in Spain. If you're planning a road trip in Spain, you might as well be familiar with the parking regulations in the country. Hola, I am Tony Galvez from Road Trips Spain and Portugal, where we help you plan the perfect trip with practical information and insider tips. So if you're ready, let's hit the road. Admittedly, parking your car is not the most exciting part of our road trip abroad, but it is a vital part of any trip and it should be done in the proper way to avoid headaches. In this video, we're going to talk about the factors influencing the availability of parking spaces. We are going to discuss how to park in cities, how to park in small towns and the countryside. We will mention parking for people with disabilities, and stay till the end of the video when we will share a few tips to avoid thefts and break-ins. The availability of parking spaces in Spain is related mainly to two factors. The first factor is the size of the place you are visiting. On the one hand, the smaller the town you are visiting, the likelier it is to find free and easy parking spaces. On the other hand, parking in big cities will nearly always become a somehow complex issue in Spain. And the second factor is the season of the year. Places where you will easily find parking spaces during most of the year become a nightmare during the high season. And check out the video we recorded on the best time to go to Spain. Let's talk about the hardest part of all, finding a place to park in Spanish cities. Our suggested road trips, with very few exceptions, avoid cities altogether. We cannot stress this fact enough. Using a car to tour cities in Spain is one of the biggest mistakes a traveler can make. However, there are a series of reasons that might force you to look for a parking space in a Spanish city. It might well be the initial or final point of your trip, or you might be paying a short visit to the city before continuing your trip. Parking restrictions are common in most Spanish cities, and the traffic of private vehicles is banned in large chunks of the historic centers of the cities. If you need to park your car, these are your alternatives. The first one are public underground car parks, known in Spain as parking subterráneo. Multi-story garages are not common in Spain, where most public car parks are buried underground. They tend to be in very convenient locations and for short-term stays might be a good option. You pay according to the time you spend in the car park. When you enter the car park, you will get a ticket you will use on your way out. Most car parks offer a 24-hour rate that it is very convenient when compared to the more expensive hourly rate. Your second option are parking spaces on the street. If you get away from the city center, you are likely to find free parking spaces on the street. Easy done. But the town centers are a completely different story. Chances are that on-street car parking will be controlled by the authorities in what is known as Zona Azul. Blue lines on the ground identify the valid parking spaces. The system can change from one city to another, but basically you park your car and right away you look for a parking meter. Introduce your payment, get your ticket and make sure it remains visible inside your car. Parking controllers are everywhere, so make sure you understand the way the system works and also make sure you do not exceed the time you have paid for. Finally, park and ride, while not unheard of, is not as common as in other European countries, but if you are visiting a large city, it might be a good idea to locate a free car park on the outskirts of the city for as long as it is connected to the public transport network. Wherever you park, make sure you pay attention to the prohibido aparcar or prohibido estacionar, no parking, signs. If you park in front of such signs, you might get a fine or even worse, get your car towed away. Other sign you should avoid is carga y descarga, which means loading and unloading. Parking outside the large cities of Spain tends to be a much easier affair. the number of restrictions is much smaller. On-street parking tends to be free, and on the smallest of towns you just park using your common sense. The exception to all of this are tourist destinations, whether a village, a beach or a national park, where you might once again find parking regulations, parking meters, restricted areas and car parks. Use your common sense to avoid being fined. You will find everywhere in Spain parking spaces reserved for people with disabilities. These parking spaces can be found on the street or even inside car parks. To be able to use those parking spaces, you should leave your disabled permit, the blue badge, visible to avoid being fined. If you are a citizen from the European Union, you can use your blue badge while visiting Spain. Whereas car theft is an uncommon occurrence in Spain, break-ins are unfortunately much more common. Follow our advice and don't become a victim. Our advice applies to the large cities and to the smallest villages as well. Wherever there are tourists, there are thieves waiting for the opportunity, make their life impossible. So, a handful of tips we want to share with you. First of all, park in well-lit areas. If you don't take them with you, hide all your electronic devices, including your GPS. This also includes your cables and chargers. Do not leave any valuables inside your car. If you need to, leave your luggage locked in the boot, in the trunk, out of sight. If you need to pack your car with your boot filled with your belongings, no one needs to know your car is loaded. So, if you need to take anything from your luggage, do so before you arrive at the place where you are going to park your car. That way, you will not need to open your boot when you park. For extra safety, when we use a car park, we try to find a parking space where we can park reversing the car against a wall, making it impossible for anyone to open the boot. Always lock the car doors, even if you stop for a few minutes. And finally, keep the car documents with you. If you take those basic precautions, we are sure your road trip will be a success. And those were our tips on the topic of parking your vehicle in Spain. We hope you found them useful. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to use the commentary box below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, we'll be really grateful for it. We'll see you soon on another video with tips for a road trip in Spain or Portugal. Até mais, hasta la próxima, see you soon!